Welcome to For the Love of Books, Bees Books Edition, a podcast by North Lanarkshire Libraries.
I'm Pari.
Hello, I'm Andrew.
And we're here to talk about Bees books. Well, you're not Jennie.
Not Jennie, no, definitely not.
So usually we've only done, I think your first recording was the three of us.
I have done one with Jennie as well.
Yes.
And you were off.
Yeah, so you've, never with me.
No,
so we might...
We're a bit more chaotic by the sounds of it.
We will definitely be very chaotic.
Yes.
Yeah. We're not rule followers, really. No.
I
mean, we look at rules.
Yes.
And then we like muddle through somehow and fall.
We have no script.
No. We have no script. Jennie is so much more prepared than we could ever hope to be.
Yes.
But I like this life of chaos. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think the first thing we need to talk about it is what we're going to be talking about.
Okay.
Did you find the theme difficult? So the theme we're going to focus on is missing piece. I was going to say hidden piece. It is not a hidden piece, which has different connotations, I feel like.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
No, not really.
Yeah.
No. I just, I sort of ignored the piece part of it and just went with missing. And that made everything much clearer.
Oh, right.
Yes,
so you've gone rogue already.
Well, I was thinking missing piece, what, like a jigsaw?
Ah.
And I thought, I don't understand. But then when I realised that really it was how you interpret it yourself, I thought
That's
anything
true.
could be a missing piece.
That's true.
So there you go. So I sort of disregarded that part of it, but hopefully it's still on message.
I would have quite liked if you'd chosen missing and I'd chosen peace, and we'd have
We didn't talk enough.
We didn't communicate because chaotic.
Yes.
I went in a slightly weird direction for missing piece because I was not as wise as you to ignore certain parameters.
I mean, wise is stretching it.
But I've gone in a more strange direction, so I'm going to have to struggle to see how it fits in. But anyway, my first book is going to be Get the Picture, How I Gate Crashed My Way into the Art World by Bianca Bosca. It's a non-fiction. And my second, The World of Jeeves, a chunky tome. I think it's the second, third, and fourth. Short stories by P.G. Woodhouse.
Now, I take it you didn't read the whole of that book.
Not yet, but I'm quite a way through. I'm just showing Andrew my bookmark.
How many pages are in this book? Explain to the because it's
very chunky.
It's great for the listeners.
Yeah.
We've in a book.
Yeah.
That's obviously
the perfect audio medium.
Yes.
It's a 774.
Yes, no.
Like a doorstopper.
Life's too short.
But they're all short stories, Andrew.
Yes,
So
okay.
each short story is like 20 pages. So I've been reading this for the last 2 months. I just like dip in and out of the short stories.
That you can do that, I suppose, with short stories.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's I don't know if you've ever read Woodhouse before.
I haven't. I remember they did a TV series many years ago of Jeeves and Wooster.
Yes.
With Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie.
Yes.
But it was one of those sort of Sunday night TV shows that you go when you're young, oh no, this is not for me. To twee and
Yeah. I think you might, if you found that I haven't watched the show,
No.
it is.
But I was like 10 probably, so that's yeah.
But he is very, very funny. That's like, I remember reading him first when I was like in my early 20s, and I didn't know any of the context that they were talking about. But the way that he has like these flourishes in language, it's just, you don't like expect where he's going with the sentence. You feel like you're on solid ground in the beginning, and then you're like, he takes a turn. And so he can be very funny. So I've been reading this on the train as well today, and I've just been snickering out loud without a care in the world to how the public sees me. So it is a good book. Okay. What books do you have?
Okay, so I have gone sort of one main book and a couple of small books with very different interpretation. So the first one I have is called Quantum of Menace by Vasim Khan.
Right.
And it's a brand new book.
Yes.
I am the first person to have it out.
Yes.
Essentially, it is set in the world of James Bond.
Okay.
And it's about Q, who was the sort of I can't remember what his title is, but he made all the gadgets and things for Bond, like the exploding pens and magic things that came out of cars and all that kind of stuff. But we knew nothing about Q. Nothing. There was no backstory to him. He was just an old doddery man in the films who came in for like 1 or 2 scenes and then got annoyed when Bond didn't do things right and would say, "Pay attention, 007," a lot. And then in later films, he changed to a couple of different people because the actor had died. But there was no backstory. So this is the start of a new series, which is essentially filling in all the missing pieces you see of Q's life. And
very good.
Who he is and about his private life and his personal life. Essentially, I'll tell you more about it when we get to it. But, so that's how we went from that.
It's also a striking cover. I love the title, first of all, Quantum of Menace. But the cover, for those who can very understandably not see it, it's a red and with a white Q, a giant white Q in the center, and a man, presumably Q.
Yes.
And a dog, question mark?
A dog. No question mark. There is a dog in it. He sort of inherits a dog, kind of. I can't say what the dog's name is because it's a swear word.
Right. Yes.
But yes, he inherits a dog. But yes, so that's where we go from that.
Yes.
Then I've gone festive. And I have a children's book which is called The Empty Stocking by Richard Curtis.
Richard Curtis,
as in comic relief and
all the festive holiday
rom-coms and things like that. Yes. It's a children's book, and it's about twins. One of whom is a very good twin, and one of whom is not a good twin.
Okay.
And when Santa comes with their Christmas presents, and the bad twin wakes up in the middle of the night, what's missing from her stocking? Everything.
No.
So there you go. Yes.
Good missing, yeah.
Yes.
And you didn't go the wholesome route. I mean, I guess the being festive is wholesome, but you weren't like bad children will be punished.
It's of a good end, but it is quite funny.
Yes.
And the last one I did is an old classic, which is Shirley Hugh's Dogger.
Oh, perfect.
Which is obviously about a boy who loses his favourite toy, which goes missing. And I have a story from my own life to relate to the book.
Oh,
so
I can't
that
wait.
all ties in.
Oh, yes,
so
excellent.
Hopefully we've covered a wide range of...
Well, you just reminded me, like, I should have been, being the veteran of this podcast, known to say, to remember to say why my books fit into
I assumed we would get to
and
that.
I did not, yes, but you were very wisely. Again, see, wisdom is all around us in the form of you. So,
yes.
Get the picture, Bianca, she's basically a journalist who doesn't quite get modern art. She's like, I don't understand why it's here. I don't understand why people are so obsessed with it. So she's trying to understand the subculture by going really deep into it. But I feel, and her premise is, I want to understand what I'm missing in art, and that people find it like such a big part of their lives, not just artists, but also connoisseurs or people who go into galleries and sellers and buyers and auctioneers and things. So she's trying to find out what's missing in my life as well through not knowing art. And Jeeves and Woodhouse, Wooster and Jeeves, I feel like Wooster, so Bertie Wooster, the main character, he is quite dim. He's not the cleverest of people in the world. And without Jeeves, who is his, it's not butler, it's almost like a gentleman help. It sounds weird. A valet, exactly.
Like
so helps him with his clothes and things. But he also helps him much more in life, comes with the perfect solution in a convoluted way. And I feel like they both fit together so well that one without the other would be a
missing piece. Wow, look what's done there.
Yes. So do you want to start with your book, or would you like me to start?
I don't really mind.
Okay, you go ahead.
Well, I do mine first because we'll see how we go.
Yeah.
So so let's talk about Quantum of Menace. So
I have to admit to you, Andrew, I have not watched a single Bond film in my life.
I can understand that. It's a very British series.
Oh, some of my favorite things are British. I've grown up with a lot of British stuff. James Bond never really... No.
I think the reason that James Bond became a kind of staple here is that it's like a kind of cliche now, but especially in like the 70s, the 80s, that kind of thing, that they were on TV all the time. The films were on TV constantly. So there is that thing of, if it was a bank holiday, if it was Christmas, if it was something like that, there would be a Bond film on.
Okay.
So you kind of got it assimilated into your brain.
Right. By osmosis,
even though you didn't really. So I was terrified of James Bond when I was a boy for the most random reason. So at the beginning of every James Bond film, they do a sort of pre-credits thing. And before that, they have, it's like a kind of, the screen has a kind of, as if it's like a bullet, not a bullet, that's lies, like a viewfinder or something. And it goes to,
oh, yes.
And then James Bond wands into the middle of the shot and fires at the screen. Boom, boom, right? And that used to make me cry. And then like blood, it goes red as if blood's coming down the screen, and that used to make me cry. So I didn't even get into the film before I was in tears. I mean, I cried at everything when I was a child. Superman, the music in Superman, which is great, stirring music, made me cry. That bit in James Bond, anything to do with Jaws.
Jaws is that more understandable with the shark.
I didn't even need to see the shark. I just had to like know it was on, and I couldn't cope. So I was quite a kind of feeble child in a lot of ways.
But you've obviously overcome your fear.
But as I got older, yes, and obviously I've seen them all now, and but they are very kind of that. They're of their time, I think. They don't, some of them don't stand up that well. Obviously.
Shocking.
Quite sexist, quite racist, all those kind of things. But they were, we wait to see what they do next. Obviously, it's been bought by Amazon, and we'll wait to see what the next film's going to be.
Does it move on? Like, there was a first James Bond and whatever.
And this sort of ties into the book as well. It's not exactly the Q. So Q in the initial, in the Ian Fleming novels, the James Bond novels, Q is called Major Boothroyd. He's the, I want to say quartermaster, but I don't know if that's the actual thing, but something like that. So like I say, he makes all the gadgets, and he does all this sort of technical whiz behind the scenes. And so he's initially called Major Boothroyd, and then eventually they start to call him Q in the films. The same man played Q from like the very first film through to the, goodness me, well into the Pierce Brosnan era, so sort of 2000 maybe. It was the same man that played him all the way through it. And then they knew that he was kind of getting a bit frail, so they brought John Cleese in to be his kind of sidekick in one film. And then in the next film, so he was Q. John Cleese, when he was in the film with Q, was called R. By the next film, by which point the old Q had, I believe, died in real life, John Cleese was now called Q.
Right, so he's graduated up the alphabet.
So it's a title, but so it's not about the one person as it is. It's a kind of code name.
Yeah.
So in the most recent Bond films with Daniel Craig, Ben Whishaw has played him. Much younger, much kind of, sort of, I don't know what you would call it, like, not as gruff, a bit more kind of.
But he played Paddington. That's where I know him. So I'm now imagining.
You can imagine that voice. Yes. So it's been sort of passed on. So the idea is that it's a job title, obviously, and it gets passed on. It doesn't quite fit into this canon in that way, because it's clearly he is Major Boothroyd, who was the original Q. And yet he's not at the same time, because it's set in modern times, and he's played as a kind of 40, 50 type year old man, whereas the original Major Boothroyd was about 100 years ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing where it's a bit
suspension of disbelief. Yeah.
So, but yes, so the plot of the book is that Q has been sacked from MI5, MI6. He's been sacked from it because a new M has come in. Now, M is the boss. M, again, M is a code name that gets carried on down through it. So M originally was a man, and then was another man, and then in the Pierce Brosnan days became Judi Dench, and then became Ralph Fiennes. In this book, is a woman again, but not Judi Dench, a sort of very stern, horrible woman.
Oh, okay.
Who just basically decides she wants to clear the decks, and Q gets the sack.
He's a bit short-sighted there.
Well, there's a kind of suggestion that he's said things or done things that's embarrassed her, and she didn't like that, or he's testified against her or something, so she's got shot of him. So he, after all these years doing all these spy things, he's out on his own, doesn't know what to do with his life. He's, at a loss. He goes back to his hometown where he came from, and it turns out that his friend who he went to school with has died in sort of mysterious circumstances, and he decides that no, he couldn't just have died. They'd say that he killed himself. Q decides he couldn't have killed himself, that he must have been murdered, and he then starts his own investigation into the murder.
All right.
And obviously it's set now, so it's very kind of current, a lot of the stuff that he's dealing with. So there's Albanian crime gangs, and there's talk about what's that thing they do with the drugs? Oh, I've lost it. County lines drug dealing, where Pari's looking completely bemused at this. Where
I don't know the seedy underbelly of the world.
People from out like the big cities gradually sort of move their drug operations into smaller towns and the countryside, and then sort of bring the young people in and do nefarious things. So there's a kind of underbelly to all that. And he finds out the reason it's Quantum of Menace. Q finds out that the guy who has died was involved with this. They were trying to make this quantum computer, and if it does that, they manage to crack this technology, they will be able to, anybody that gets their hands on that technology will be able to bypass every password and every passcode in the world in seconds.
Wow.
So it's a very, nobody wants to
No.
So he's out on his own, he's trying to solve the crime, he's still in touch with Bond through like email and text message and things like that. Bond does turn up towards the end of the film in a kind of cameo to rescue him. Some of the other characters, again from the Bond films and the Bond books, do pop up. But it's quite interesting because it is a character that was a blank canvas, really. So they're sort of fleshing him out and making him like a actual person, as opposed to, like I say, now pay attention 007 for 20 films.
But also so I don't know if I'm reading or interpreting it correctly, but this seems like more murder mystery-y.
Yes. He's basically investigating the murder mystery, but again, there is that sort of, it's why was he murdered? Was he murdered? And if he was it because foreign powers wanted to get their hands on the technology? Who is it? Foreign agents that are acting behind the scenes.
Right, so the spy bit.
The spy bit comes in there. There's a kind of weird bit in the prologue and at the end where some mysterious shadowy man in a building, who's not mentioned, puts in an appearance. It's not like one of the baddies that we know, I don't think, but at the end, somebody says at the very end of the book, he says something like, what should we do with them? And the man who doesn't get a name says, kill them all. So it's setting it up as a series, and I think that the next one's going to be called like The Man with the Golden Compass.
I love that. I love these titles.
So he's going to kind of become, by the sound of it, he's going to be like a kind of investigating these things as a not working for the police, but kind of involved with, if they come up with these outlandish investigations, then he's going to be kind of roped in to try and help them. And he does use some of his gadgets.
I was going to ask.
There's a bit where he gets captured and he manages to free himself because he's got a saw embedded inside his watch. He manages to cut through his ropes. And there's also something on it that sends out an emergency beacon to Bond, and that's how he comes and rescues him and things like that. So it's good. And
did you enjoy it?
I did, and I would be interested in reading the next one to see where it goes. And it's good. They have brought like characters in, so he gets reunited with his dad, who he hasn't seen in years. And his dad works in a library, of all things.
Right.
and people like a woman who he used to be in love with turns out to be the policewoman that's in charge of the investigation, blah 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 blah. So it does tie it up quite well. It's interesting as well as there's a bit at the end where the author's talking about how it came about, and essentially he was at something, and the people that are the Ian Fleming, whatever they are, that organise, they oversee all the books and things that get written now, basically came to him at this event and said, would you be interested in writing a series about Q? And he said, I just went, well, oh, wow. He said, because again, I had grown up with these things. Yeah. I watched them with my dad. My mum wasn't really keen on them because she felt that some of the stuff, because there was a lot of, basically Bond ends up having fun with a lot of ladies in the film.
Yes.
Every film.
Yes, I have heard.
Yes, and he says something like, he's talking about his mum, and his mum didn't really approve of the films.
And assuming by his name and his photo, it's like, a South Asian auntie.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
so
I can't imagine. My mum. Yeah.
She
oh, no way.
He says, my father was a huge fan of Roger Moore as Bond. My mother, not so much. She would insist on me averting my eyes whenever Mr. Bond became amorous, which was a lot. So he was at some event because he was the head of the UK Crime Writers Association.
Yeah.
And the Ian Fleming publication was sponsoring something. And they came and said to him, would you fancy writing this?
Because I know he's written quite a lot of murder mysteries, and I like this mesh of murder mystery and spy drama, spy thriller.
I mean, it is essentially murder mystery, but it has got elements of, the sort of Bond stuff and other spy stuff all sort of mashed in. So I was quite pleased to read the missing pieces of Q's story. Does that sound? So his dog gets a really an offensive name because the man who had him before just used to shout that at the poor dog.
Oh, but now he's been rescued.
He's been rescued. The dog's very sad.
No.
And he takes the dog to the vet a couple of times, and the vet says, I think it just needs love. Like, for example,
don't be all doggy.
Don't stand and call your dog a swear word. And then he gets all annoyed. So he's also got in it, and this is where the sort of spy things come in. So the M secretary in the Bond books and films is called Miss Moneypenny.
Oh, yes.
Q has created a robot that's a sort of robot maid, if you like, and she's called Honeypenny. And when Bond eventually comes into the picture and ends up in his house briefly, the dog and Miss Honeypenny are like all over him. And he's like, he says to the dog, oh my goodness, he's just a man at one point. So good fun.
Do you think you'd recommend this, or would this work for somebody who isn't into the Bond films, or do you think you have to be familiar?
I don't think it would really matter that much. I think that it's not deeply embedded in it.
Yeah. So just winking nods to people who
essentially as well, because it's not a recognizable, it's not the recognizable Q from the film or the M from the film or anything like that. It's like the next person to take it on, if you like. So it's not like you'd be sitting going, well, that doesn't sound like Judi Dench, that doesn't sound like whoever. But it's interesting what you said as well, that with Bond, he's the one that is the wild card in the mix, because obviously there's been however many, 5 or 4, 5, 6, whatever it is, James Bonds, over a long period of time. And is it meant to be the same man all the way through? Or is that a code name?
Yeah.
Is James Bond 007, is that a code name?
Because that is what they're talking about now, to branch out into who they can cast.
And Daniel Craig basically got killed off at the end of the last one.
Yes.
So how does that work then? Does that mean that it's not really ever been established that that's the case?
Yeah.
And it would take it in a completely different direction, but it's possible.
Yeah.
It was a slight, where it kind of became a slight problem was when Judi Dench became M, and she was M before Pierce Brosnan when he took over. That's when she started, but she kept playing the part into Daniel Craig.
Right.
But his was like a kind of reset of the story. So that would suggest that it was a code name.
Yes, that's true.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so who knows what Bond turns up in the book? I've got absolutely no idea. But yes, I would recommend it if anybody likes that sort of, a bit of spy stuff, a good, murder mystery.
Yeah.
And in the end, it's that way of, you think it's all going to be quite outlandish, and that the solution to the crime is, have the Russians killed them, have the Chinese killed them, have these people done it because they want their hands on that? And in the end, it's not really. It's like
more domestic.
It's like a more domestic, mundane solution.
Oh, I like that bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
a wide audience for it.
Mm-hmm.
So from one British institution to another.
Yes.
So have you read any Woodhouse before, or has that just not been?
No.
So Woodhouse seems to have a lot of popularity in India, specifically, I think, because of colonial hangovers.
Yeah.
Because it's talking about, so like Jeeves and Wooster, or the world of Jeeves, it's set in, like, I think I want to say the 1920s-ish, but he wrote on till like many more years after, and they kind of refer to previous stories.
And did they become? Are they still set in the same period, or they age with it?
I think they age with it because at least in this case, like one of his friends in the beginning of this sort of the short stories kept falling in love with every woman that he met, but then he gets married at some point, and now he has different kinds of, he still has problems in his life, but he has different, so I'm assuming that they do age a little bit, but it doesn't really matter in the end, because like I was saying, the context of it is so alien to an Indian reader because it's set in, the past, but also very specific past, which is the upper crust of like British society. So like the aristocrats.
It's very alien to us as well.
Yes,
it's not.
Yeah. But you would know the kinds of, you'd recognize the context of it. Whereas for us, who we think that all British people are rich, all Americans are rich, so obviously they all live like Woodhouse. Do you not have a palace in the country?
No, and I don't have a butler.
You don't have someone who chooses your clothes for you.
No, clearly not.
So it's, even in spite of that, I think it's a form of escapism. So I feel like maybe that's what's connected, because I don't think it's just India. I think it's like globally, it's been really popular for like 100 years now, or near enough. And they're very small time, troubles, and they're all quite ludicrous, quite mad.
They're not trying to save the world.
They are not. No, they're trying to save their world, but that could just be the aunt is really angry that the nephew embarrassed her at a dinner. So then they run away and they make a big
That's good though. That's sometimes you need that kind of nonsense.
It is absolute nonsense in the best possible way. I'd forgotten how fond I was of it because I read it like over 10 years ago, and then I knew I had fond memories of it even then, but then so I wanted to revisit it because I'm making a project of trying to read classics in the autumn and winter, and this I think would be considered a classic. So like I said, they're all like really like aristocrat problems and not relevant to the real world as we know it at all. They all have like a increasing number of aunts and uncles and grandaunts, and who are all disapprove of these nephews and nieces because they're all terrible. They just like they don't work, they're just waiting on they have money from, I guess, their family, or so the aunts are not happy about this because they think they should be trying and saving the world in real life, but they just want to drink and eat breakfast, choose clothes, whatever, have a valet choose clothes. And all that sort of conflict is that, someone like this, one of his friends has fallen in love and he wants to marry her, but he's an idiot. So no, the parents don't approve. So how is he going to trick them into like approval? Or something like I said, the aunt is embarrassed by this terrible nephew of hers. So he wants to run away from her and he goes to the US, he goes to the States. as one does, right? You
Yeah,
don't want to have an
yeah.
uncomfortable encounter with a relative, so you go and
Yes.
find a flat in New York.
Yes. And I mean, but that was a big commitment in those days because that took you about 3 weeks at sea.
That's how
something
much
to
we
get
needed
there.
to get
That's
away
it,
from
yeah.
Aunt Agatha.
Mm.
Yes, and it's just so even though it's absolute nonsense, it's so comforting
Yeah.
because you know that nothing really bad is going to happen. It's all Jeeves is always there to rescue Bertie Wooster from any of the ridiculous scrapes he gets into, and his friends as well. They all turn to Jeeves. Jeeves, I think, does it because he wants to be clever, but he's also always monetarily rewarded by a very grateful idiot. They'll be like, £5, £20, £25. Just in the short story I finished on the train, he's amassed a fortune of £10 by, no, £100 by, which is very different from £10. But in those days, from like various people that he's helped in ways that have helped others. So it's all pretty convoluted, but so good to just kind of like dip in and out of, as I've been doing with these short stories, because they end like you finish them in like 10-15 minutes and you meet these fools and then you come back out and you're like, yes, isn't the world simple and quaint and twee, so lovely, and then you come out to the horrors of the real world.
Do you have a favourite one or a favourite story or a favourite, something that happens that you would go,
Some of them have made me laugh more than others, but I just love how self-deprecating Bertie is towards himself. He's like, look, I know I'm not the brightest chap in the world, and then he like say all these various things that he's done, ridiculous things that he's done, but he's like, but at least I'm better than this fool here. So it's just the vibe of it more than the specifics. So it almost doesn't even matter. Like I have a terrible memory anyway, but I love reading like mysteries, for example, because then in my, that murder wall that people do with like the red string attached to, that's what my head is like. Yeah, when I'm reading a murder, because I love trying to solve. Whereas in this, it's almost like I can just turn my brain off. And just go in and just like, it's a glimpse into a life that I would never have ever encountered before.
Would you wanted it?
I don't think so. No, because there's this an early short story where this a friend of his who's fallen in love with not even a socialist. I think at that time she's like an anarchist Marxist in those times. So he's pretending to be an anarchist Marxist, even though he's very much of the aristocrat class. So he has a disguise and things, and he'll go out into the field on protest marches and make fun of all these people he actually knows. But because he's in disguise, he'll shout at them like, oh, this imperialist oppressors and things he'll shout. And one of whom happens to be his uncle. And he feels like he can do this because, he has a beard. And that obviously like hides all sins. But then the conflict of that plot is his identity is going to be revealed, and there's like a love triangle going on because
is it revealed?
Yes. It's always it's always revealed. There's that, but then Jeeves will step in at the exact right moment, and he'll be like, one of the recurring sort of reasons is, so the first story we meet Bertie, he's accidentally found himself with a fiance.
Right.
She has a strong personality. She's pressured this relationship, and he's also pretty soft in the head. He's pretty soft-brained, so he just like goes along with all these sort of strong characters, and he wants to get rid of this fiance, not in a murdery way, in like I want to be free way. And the end of it is that the uncle of this woman is convinced that Bertie is like an insane person, like genuine, like he should be in the asylums at that time. And then that becomes a recurring thing, like all these, he keeps getting he keeps acquiring fiancés left, right, and center accidentally, and him being insane becomes like a crux. So there's sort of callbacks to certain things, but it doesn't feel like in another book or another kind of plot it would feel lazy. But in this, it's more, again, like it's just the vibes. You're going there not for a reason that you possibly might go into another kind of fictional world, and it's just really fun.
And in the end, so I think I know the answer to this, but I take it that they never. It's not like one of these things where they like. I've been watching a lot of Seinfeld on Netflix. And one of the things about that was that Jerry Seinfeld used to say they never learn.
No.
They never learn from anything.
Oh,
they
no,
learn
no,
from
no.
the mistakes. They don't develop. They don't, they don't suddenly have it. And I feel like these characters are kind of similar.
They're timeless, stuck in amber, but they do move in age, but not in brain.
Yes.
No. Yes, they don't. There is no moral of the lesson. Because they never have to face the consequences of their actions, much like the aristocrats in our world.
Yes. And you were saying earlier on about you felt it fitted into the theme about like they kind of they were sort of missing. They were the missing pieces that fitted together.
Yes. Yeah, because I feel like even just in canon, like our imaginary canon, Wooster and Jeeves go really together.
Yeah.
But in this fictional narrative, I think for Bertie to thrive in the world as he does, he needs a Jeeves to like get him out of his mad sort of shenanigans that he gets in. He finds himself, and he gets really. All of them get really stressed out by the most ridiculous things. But on the other hand, they're also really stressed out about money a lot of times, because the reason they have to keep these aunts and uncles happy is because they're responsible for giving them money. So they have to keep them on side. And they have to find ways to sort of suck up to them in a way that Jeeves helps.
The question remains then, why does Jeeves stick with it?
I think he is much like Q in that a way where we don't really have a backstory to him so much. Sometimes we'll meet like very conveniently his nieces or his nephews or whatever who are in the correct employment position to help another sort of aggrieved lunatic. Lunatic. But so another sort of recurring theme is that Bertie sometimes in a fit of bravery will try and be more sort of ostentatious with his clothing choices, like a purple pair of socks or like a silk shirt. And Jeeves he will not tolerate this blasphemy. So, but because Bertie will be like, he is my valet, I am the person who's in charge here. So it'll start with that I can do what I want. And then Jeeves will be cold to him and he'll, not like, he'll be very, very, so he loves clothes and he loves doing a good job. And in the end, as a reward for his cleverness, Jeeves will give away the purple pair of socks or will be okay. Or Jeeves will give away the shirts and Bertie will just be like, yes, fair enough. So so it's like almost there. I know like Panto has a big tradition in the UK, which I've never watched, but I know there are like these archetypes. So there are also like archetypes. So even within murder mysteries, and like, how certain characters and things fit, they fit in, even the stories differ, that Bertie is going to be a fool, Jeeves is going to have a clever thing, but it's the journey of how, and the language, honestly, he's just so funny. I appreciate like wordplay so much, and he just has this personality with his writing that's the plot sometimes is not even as important as how he's going to like twist and turn words to just make you laugh. So yes, very much recommend.
Well, you've actually made me think. Maybe give it a go.
So I would say don't start with such a chunk. But this is, to be fair to this chunk, it is 3 books in one. And they're all short stories.
So are all the short stories or is it full-length novels as well?
No, at least not in this book. I feel like I have some books back home in Mumbai that were full-length things. So, but I think it would be roughly in the same vein where mad things happen in the beginning, mad things happen in the middle, and then Jeeves or a stand-in. Conveniently, everything works out.
Weird codependent relationship that neither of them could exist without the other.
Yeah, exactly.
So they remain trapped for eternity.
Wow, you can't. Here I was being like, oh, it's so light and fluffy. And you're like, this is purgatory.
It's like Bart Simpson being at primary school for 35 years. Jeeves are just trapped.
Mentally, yes. Even
purgatory.
Yes. So, how cheerful.
Enjoy, everybody.
So, speaking of which, do you want to talk about your
Sure.
twin evil
Yes,
twin dynamic?
so it's just a short kids book.
Yeah.
But it's got some nice wee witty bits as well. So as I say, it's called The Empty Stocking. It's Rich Curtis and Rebecca Cobb. I think Rebecca Cobb is the illustrator. Yes, she is. So it's about twins, who you can see on the front here, Pari, who are called Sam and Charlie. And they're this is an important part of the plot, is that they look so alike that people find it very hard to tell the difference between them. But one of them, this one here, always has a hair in like plaits.
Yes. Yeah.
And the other one, I believe, has a small scar on her face, you see, and that's how you tell them apart.
Oh, I like that it's very visually distinctive markers.
Yes, I mean, it's like a kind of weird, I don't know what that is, like a fork.
It looks
like
the
a
devil holds.
like a trident thing. So, oh, no, it does say Charlie had a little scar on her cheek in the shape of a fork.
Okay.
There you go. So I don't know why that's relevant, because she is the devil. Is that where we're going with it? Possibly. It's deep meaning in a light children's book. So she's not. It says here Charlie was quite bad. It says not really bad, but just very naughty, because she liked having fun and she liked doing things. So you have like our poor parents here in this one are sitting on the couch while she sort of was mad with hitting pots and pans with a drumstick and plays the piano and has a tambourine all at the one time. But her parents, obviously, look, the poor animal has got its hands over its ears because it can't stand it.
This is what gentle parenting.
Yes, the parents just turn a blind eye because they love her. They love her.
Blinded by love.
Yeah. In the next picture here, she's throwing a tomato at her teacher.
Oh,
she's very naughty at school.
Wow.
And here she's turning the hose on the next door neighbour.
Oh, wow.
And then she steals things from the sweet shop.
That took a turn from being noisy to pet.
Yes. So she's she's
a delinquent.
She's a delinquent, yes, basically. So they have a lovely Christmas Eve.
Yeah.
And they
I wonder what she does.
They watch Elf and they read The Night Before Christmas and all that. Oh, they have a lovely time. But they're all a bit concerned because will she get any Christmas presents, because she's not very good.
No.
And they think that there's no way that Santa won't know what she's been up to with all these crazy things. So it says here, Dad was worried because it was her naughtiest year yet, what with the eating a whole box of chocolates incident and the glue in the DVD and the ice down the back of the teacher's dress and the worst things. So Mum and Dad then decide to just go to bed because they don't want to be up when Santa arrives, obviously. Yeah. So they all go to bed and that's fine. And Santa arrives and Santa has already been warned that one of them is very bad and one of them's a nice girl. So Santa doesn't like to do it, but sometimes you've got his tough love. You've got tough love.
Consequences.
So he fills one of the stockings and he puts nothing in the other one.
I see you're very deliberately saying one off and the other.
And goes away again. Eats his tangerine or whatever it is that they've left for him and goes away. But of course, the important plot point is, remember, nobody knows the difference between the twins, and when they're both lying in bed, who's who? So Santa gets it wrong, and Santa fills the stocking of the bad twin and puts nothing in the good twin stocking.
Oh, scandal.
You see?
Scandal of the century.
Yes. So, in the middle of the night, the bad twin, I hate to call her the bad twin, but she is. The bad twin wakes up and looks and sees her stocking full to bursting. Oh, and she's so excited because she doesn't think she deserved anything because she's been a rotter the whole year. But when she looks at her sisters, who's been good and done everything right, no presents. Yeah. There you go. The presents are missing from her sister's stocking.
Several missing pieces.
Yes. Yeah. So she's a bit torn about it because she thinks, I don't really deserve all of this, and my sister doesn't deserve not to get anything, and I don't really know what we're going to do with it. So she has a sort of attack of conscience, shall we say?
Yeah.
And she says that it then says that nobody ever really noticed this, but although she was being naughty, she really loved her sister.
Yeah, she never did anything
She
to her
didn't,
sister.
no, because here we have when she's doing all that crazy stuff, the instruments, what you haven't seen in the first pictures, her sister's here with like chicken pox or something, and she's loving it, you know, and she only threw the tomato at the teacher because it made her sister laugh, you know, and the same again, she only did that because it made her laugh, and sometimes she only stole the sweets because the sister was being bullied. She stole the sweets from the shop to make her happy. So she wasn't a bad girl.
She was the best sister ever.
Well, she wasn't. She was a rotter. But even so, she realised that, you know, she felt that wasn't right.
Yeah.
She doesn't understand why her sister got anything in it, and she can't bear the thought that her sister will be upset. So she goes through the stockings and she takes half of the presents out of her stocking and she puts them in her sister's stocking. She says, because half is a lot better than nothing. So there you go. So that's very nice.
It's a lovely story.
No, because there's even more.
Right.
Because then Santa up on the sleigh gets a notification like on WhatsApp or something to say that there's been a last minute change, because that's put her into the good side again. So he goes back and he fills both of the stockings up to the top, and flies away, and he's very happy, but he puts something extra at the bottom of her stocking, so you get all the presents, everybody's very happy, we're all having a lovely day.
Lovely.
But then she finds something else at the bottom of her stocking, and she keeps it, because she never shows it to anybody, and she said that she was very proud of it, and although she knew she was sometimes very naughty indeed, she thought it might be true. It just said 2 world. It said good girl.
That's lovely.
So it's a nice story.
Very
and it's
nice.
got a good message behind it, I think. Yeah. In that people, you know, we kind of stigmatise people and saying that's a bad child, or that's a bad person, or that's a bad, you know, for things that are really trivial in the long run. Right? You know, like, yeah, okay. So, I mean, I'm not talking about evil dictators.
No.
But I'm talking like daft things, you say, but then that she had reasons behind it. Yeah. She loved her sister, and she was, she shouldn't have had to teach her with a tomato, but she was doing it because she was trying to cheer her sister up. That doesn't excuse anything. Do not do that if that's, you know, don't go out and attack people for no reason. But she wasn't doing it.
Certainly not in the library.
She wasn't doing it to be malicious.
Yeah.
She was doing it because she loved. Yeah. And even although she knew that she didn't really deserve any presents, she still would rather have had half of what she got. And she shared. She knew that her sister deserved it more. And in the end, she got the good girl badge. Now, I don't believe for 1 second, just in the same way that Bertie Wooster and his stupid friends don't ever learn. I don't believe that, whatever her name is, I've forgotten her name.
Samantha?
Charlie. I don't believe that Charlie, in the end, really changed. I think she probably is still doing stupid things.
She was just mischievous.
Yes.
She's not like evil. No, she's not going to get up and start World War III.
She's not. She's stealing sweets out of a sweet shop.
Yeah.
As long as she doesn't progress to stealing a telly out of Asda or something like that, then, you know, and you hope at this time of year that, you know, she'll see the error of her ways.
So I feel like Asda could afford it with the record profits they made.
We're doing a slippery slope here, Harry. This is a whole different conversation.
You think the kinds of sweets that she steals, I am in my head stealing it from like a big corporate supermarket rather than, you know, the corner shop.
No,
run by
the corner shop. No, there's an actual picture. Look.
Oh no, it's a literal corner shop.
It's a corner shop with a man with a moustache, and he's still got the sweets in jars behind his counter. So she is
Okay. Yeah. That's fine. It was a lovely wholesome end.
It was a lovely wholesome ending. It is quite a nice wee book for this time of year. It is, some of it is quite kind of. It's not like a bland
like a saccharine book.
It has a wee bit of wit about it.
Yes.
It's got a nice ending.
Doesn't take itself too seriously.
Doesn't take itself too seriously. when it's talking about Santa here, it says 45 minutes later, a very exhausted fat old man with a beard landed on a lawn in Suffolk, and he talks about how the reindeer, when they land and he leaves the reindeer in the garden, the reindeer eat all the hedges. So he says, if you ever come out on Christmas morning and you've got a munched hedge,
that's
you know that it's the reindeer that did it. So yeah,
this does seem like a fun story, because I'm a little suspicious of celebrities writing children's books, because I feel like they're a very specific kind of kids, and they're just doing it because it's easy money. But this one seemed like I'd read it even if I didn't.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice. It's not it's got a nice message to it
and a fun story.
A fun story, and yeah, it just goes to show that not all bad. People are not all bad.
Yeah.
Children are not all bad. That's the message of today. They're
not
all bad. They don't deserve to get no presents.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, when you, before the reveal of the Good Girl badge, I was sure Santa had left a coal in her stocking, and she kept it there in like a very Puritan kind of self-punishment thing that I have to remember.
That's a very dark ending.
Yes. So, so I'm going to go to my book now. Get the picture. So I've never heard of Bianca Bosker before. No. But one of my favorite genres of nonfiction is people writing like accessibly, funnily, like passionately about something that they are really interested in. Yeah. And like I learned through that. Like art is not a thing, like I like going to museums and art galleries, but as a very much as a lay person, like I have no knowledge about it. Yeah, I don't. So what do you think about modern art?
No. Not for me.
No?
No.
Where have you encountered it? Like in Goma?
No, I haven't gone to these places because I know that it's not my thing. To be fair, art in general is not really my thing.
Yeah.
I struggle with it. I mean, I would go to... we've been to the Louvre, and things like that, and I've been to museums and things, art galleries in London, but it's not really my thing.
Yeah,
I just go okay, and then I'm bored.
Yes, you can do it for.
I've seen that painting, that's great, and I've seen that painting, and that one there's just a load of splotches on the wall, and it's not really it's not that I don't get what they're trying to do with it. It's just not really my thing. Does that make sense?
Yes. Can I tell you? Oh, you're going to hate this. So my encounter with modern art, like obviously we have like, so in Mumbai where I grew up, we have sort of more traditional beautiful art.
Yeah.
And where I've traveled, like, different sculptures and artists, different traditions than here. But there's a modern art, like a festival that happens in the city, another city, once every 2 years. And me and my friends had gone there just to explore the city and go to this festival. And it's free, so they're trying to make modern art accessible to people. But I'm very much like you in that I don't usually get it. I'm like, what is this? My friend went around declaring like to different things, like, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. And that became like a running joke. Like, she's like, yes, I could do this. Is this art? But then the most ridiculous exhibition that we still talk about to this day is, and this was years ago, so we walked into a room, and there were these boulders, like say 6 like giant rocks on the table, and people were sniffing them. And we're like, okay, what's going on? Have we entered a cult? Like, well, what's going on? And then we read, how these modern art, they have like these descriptions and things to say what it is and what it is that you're supposed to, like, I guess, think or interpret. So this one, I don't even remember the whole explanation of it or the whole premise of it, but basically they had, through some sort of scientific magic thing, whatever, taken the sweat of I knew you were gonna hate this of laborers, so like working class things, like mining stones or whatever, and in some sort of scientific way put it in these stones, so like a mix of art and science, into these giant rocks. So the thing that people were going around sniffing was the smell of a specific man who had mined this specific rock. And we were like, okay, we have to experience this for ourselves. And you could smell the sweat, Andrew. It wasn't even like...
And I get that. But
Mhm.
why would
Yes.
anybody want to?
Yes.
That's the thing.
Well, I think we got like both peer pressured into it, but also like we wanted to, I guess, experience the madness.
No, and I get that too, but you
Yes.
think to yourself, what possessed somebody to create that in the first place?
So there was there was a whole thing about it, like why they did it. It was something like, oh, it was to represent these men in spaces. But they make up, modern artists make this up about everything. And that's what Bianca thought as well.
Yeah,
So she grew up with her grandmother being a really good artist. Like she was sort of like, she escaped Europe during the war. And for her in the camps, like there was sort of art became a way of her staying connected to the world. And she did that with Bianca as well when she was when she was young in the US. And so Bianca used to do art, like make stuff when she was younger, but then she lost kind of sort of track of it because she's like, I'm not going to be a professional artist.
Yeah.
So she became a writer, journalist, moved on. And then suddenly she found like one of her paintings by her grandmother. And she, it sort of made her go down that rabbit hole of like how art can mean so much to specific people. But she went in the direction of modern art in particular because she's much like the two of us. She's like, I don't get it. I don't understand why people would put sweat into the stones. I don't understand what it's supposed to do. It's not even like beautiful. It's not like, it doesn't add value to my life, but I want to understand why there are so many people obsessed with this world. And so it's divided into like, I think like 5 bits. She completely throws herself into it as a project. So first she becomes an intern at this like niche gallery, which is run by an artist who is really a big name, not an artist, like a gallerist who's a big name in New York. So this is all happening in New York. And she wants to learn. And he's like a very sort of snobby kind of person, comes from a lot of money, but is trying to give emerging artists a space, but has a very specific, like, you have to dress in a certain way, you have to be a certain way, you have to think a certain way, talk a certain way, and you can't just like, beauty is rubbish, like you can't be, he wants to make you uncomfortable. He doesn't want any old random person to walk into his gallery. So specifically, he's put his gallery on the 2nd floor in a neighborhood that's not, he's like, I don't want some tourists walking in. So very much a snob. And she's quite scared of him as well, but he's the only one who's invited her in because everyone else is like, they almost talk of it like it's a gang. Like, you don't know what these artists are like. The reputation is everything. If they know I'm talking to you, my reputation would be in tatters. So they're all like talking like it's the mafia, which it kind of is. And she completely throws herself into this. And we're kind of entering the world through her eyes. And she's quite a fun person to enter the world with because she does everything that she's asked for, even in terms of things that she might otherwise find demeaning. She just does it because she really wants to understand what it is and see the world develop this eye that she thinks she's missing. Like, she doesn't think she has the eye to appreciate modern art, and she's hoping hanging out with these people it will help her develop something. So the first part is the experience with this guy in the gallery, and it's really fun. Like for the reader, not for her. She has a horrible time. Because it's almost like he'll like message her in the middle of the night, and they after work, she's not getting paid for this. No. They have to go out to all these art openings and things. He's like, you have to like network with everybody. But he doesn't want to network with her. Yeah. He's like, I can't be seen talking to you because you're not anybody. So she has to go to all these places. He's like messaging, calling, work just bleeds into her life. Her poor husband there is just like, okay, all right. And just becomes this obsessive part. And then finally, towards the end of that section, she's like, I feel like, and she's always walking on eggshells as well because his mood changes dramatically with her sometimes. And she's like, you don't know what you're doing. I think she thinks that, okay, I think I need a different now. Like, I've seen how much I can here. I need a different kind of vibe. So she joins a gallery that's more accepting of different kinds of artists and actually wants to sell art and actually wants to invite people who don't know art to come and, sort of like understand. So that's what the second part. So she goes there, and this is the first gallerist. He would have completely like rubbished the idea of, oh, these people are going to art fairs to sell art. I would never. So very, very much a hipster gallerist, whereas these people are like, we need to make money. We don't come from wealth. We need to sell to function. And they're super happy to get her on board. So a very different experience there. And again, the way that she writes, she's quite funny. So the way, and but she's also very serious about the silliness. So she's like, she understands that this is all ridiculous, but she's trying to understand, and she's like, we're along with her for the ride. And then in the third one, I think she interns with an artist. So she becomes a studio assistant. So it's like different sections. She's like going in it in different angles because she thinks that she wants to understand how art is made. And one of the I don't think I can talk about it either because it's quite not safe for work. So I'll tell you about it after we stop recording. But one of the artists that she becomes I don't want to say friends, but acquaintances with, she's like, is this art? Like, can this be art? It's really strange and really bizarre, but she's trying to understand.
Yeah.
And she takes us on a journey, at least she took me on a journey from like, what to like, maybe. Like a little bit like you felt with Woodhouse after you're like, maybe. She's like, maybe this is art. Like her thing shifts throughout her experience. I think she did this for years till just COVID hit. She did like different sort of perspectives. And then whom did she go with? Oh, and the final thing. So I think she went to a couple of other people. The final thing, she becomes a guard at like a sort of like security guard at the Guggenheim Museum in New York, which is a modern art museum. Because there she's like, I want to see it from the perspective of the people who come to see art, who are just randos, who are not like, like anybody. I mean, some of them are like have specific knowledge, but they're like you and me if we go to
just wandering.
Wandering in. And but she's so bored because they have to stay. They're not allowed to like look at their phones or like listen to music. They have to just stay for 40 minutes at the same spot waiting for something to happen. So she spends a lot of time with the art, and she's like, this is her first shift, she's like, okay, this will be fine. Her first 40 minutes, she's like, okay, how long has it been? 30 minutes? No, 5 minutes. She's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna try and now last for another 5 minutes without looking at my watch. A minute. So she really struggles, but then she spends a lot of time with these works of art that otherwise she would never have gone to see, and she learns to look at it differently, not just because of her experience there, but because of all that she's gone through, all the people she's spoken about. She also went to conferences and things like art conferences, visual conferences, to talk to people about what it is that they're seeing that she's not seeing. And in the end, she has like a revelation, not in like, oh, I figured it all out, but I think the process helped her come at a certain direction, which you and I might have gone in. We might have been like, modern art is never going to impact our lives whatsoever. But in the end, it was quite moving, I thought, for me, just because of how like you see her change throughout the book, like from where she went to where she ended up, and then where you went to where you ended up. And I just loved the book. It's one of my favorite non-fiction books that I've read this year.
Do you think there's an element, though, that because she'd been involved in all that for so long, doing all these things, that's kind of, pardon me, kind of institutionalized, like you're bombarded with things.
Yes.
And they're all around you for so long.
Yeah.
You suddenly kind of go,
maybe.
It's not that bad after all.
But
Sorry, I've got a frog in my throat.
Yes. Oh, we do sound effects on the podcast as well, yeah. I think, so she tried very much to challenge the institutional gaze of it throughout her thing, because she was coming in from the outside.
Yeah.
And she didn't so in the beginning, the intimidating gallery owner that she started with, she didn't really trust herself. She's like, I don't know who I am, or like I'm not of this place.
Yes.
So I'm going to listen to other people to figure out what it is that I'm missing, but I'm too scared to. But she develops in confidence to say that actually, I do have my own perspective and voice, and this guy might not agree with it, even though he's this big important person in the art world, but I do. So the kinds of things that she finds herself drawn to, some of them are things that even the other kind of modern artists are a little bit uncomfortable with. Specifically, this one not safe for work sort of artist project thing. And she's like, other people are also like, this is not art. She is constantly challenging herself in the beginning, but then she develops the confidence to challenge like these institutions that tell her what it is, that how you're supposed to engage with that. So in the end, like towards the end of the book, she sees like all these guides, leading tours around the Guggenheim, and or seeing people how they go. And when you go to a gallery, at least this is me, I like reading the explanation, the wall art, because I want to the context of the piece, because otherwise to me it doesn't make sense.
Anything.
Like it, especially in modern art, but even like with like traditional art, you're like, who is this person? I don't know who this is. So like, but then she's like all these things, even the fact that what art is in the room, it's a person who has their own biases and preferences, who's chosen it. Even in terms of the interpretation that's written, it's one person's interpretation. So she's very much in the chaotic way. She's like, you should go and you should just look at the art, ignore the thing, and just come to your own kind of like, whether you like it, whether you think it's rubbish and should just be thrown in the bin. You spend time with it, and usually, I don't know if this is you, but I'll just walk around. Like, I won't spend like more than a few minutes at one specific art, because you have so many things to do, this is one part of your very full day. And she used to be the same. But then because she was forced to do this as working as a guide, she's like, at least spend 5 minutes. If I was leading a tour, I would force everybody to stay at one thing for 40 minutes. And okay, this feels a lot, but it's because she's gone through that process, and so she thinks that you should let all the voices and things go.
You have to look at that from the point of view of, like you were talking about, the smelly rocks in that room.
Yes.
If you'd gone in there and there was just big smelly boulders, with no explanation of what they were or what they were meant to represent or anything else.
Exactly.
What would you really have got from that?
We wouldn't even have smelled them, because you wouldn't go up to an art exhibit.
There's big rocks in a room.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Exactly.
Farewell.
But that's the thing. I feel like in the end, she said that you shouldn't even listen to me. Like, this would be how I would do it, but you shouldn't listen to, like, you shouldn't think that there's only one way to engage with art. So she's found her way in this book to engage with modern art. She's like, this is obviously my journey, but I don't think any of you reading this should actually feel that you're too, like, unknowledgeable, or you're too, like, you don't know what's going on, you wouldn't, like, understand the context. Art is for everybody, and it doesn't even need to be in a gallery to be art. She walked around New York and like learned to see differently, because she walked around with artists and things. And I thought like that broader kind of philosophy, the way that she came to it, was really interesting, and she wrote it in such a fun way. I feel like it could have been a subject that could have been so dry and so boring in another pair of hands, but because she's a journalist, she writes for mass audiences. Apparently, she's also gone like on a wine tour, like trying to understand wine in another book. And I have absolutely no interest in wine.
I'm the same.
But because it's her, yes, I'll be like, maybe she'll make me interested in wine, or at least because it was so much about the subculture as well. She felt like she's this anthropologist in like this weird cult community, and you feel like that. So it was really fun. So if you're even like a little bit interested in art, I would recommend it. I would also recommend it for like, I guess, cultural anthropology, curious people, just because it's, even if you're not interested in art, the way that she finds these people, and some of them, again, much like Woodhouse, are lunatics.
Yes.
Complete lunatics, but in an interesting way, I think. So, yes. So,
excellent.
Very much recommend.
Good. Will we do my last one very quick?
Do you want to talk about your final book?
Yes, I will. So this is Shirley Hugh's Dogger. It says on the front of it, the much loved story about finding your favourite toy. So, I can't remember. Does it tell us the boy's name? Let's see what his name is, because I can't remember. Dave. Oh, Dave has a sort of scabby dog thing called Dogger. It's got one ear that goes up and one ear that goes down.
Oh, love this.
So it's well loved, and he's a bit worn and he's a bit, seen better days. And Dave takes Dogger everywhere, no matter what, takes him all over the place, takes him to all different places and all this kind of things. He's got a wee baby brother, but he doesn't like soft toys. He likes things that he can eat. And his sister has like 100 of them in her bed at the one time. So, but he only likes Dogger, and he takes Dogger everywhere. So, they go out to school. School's having a kind of fair thing. I remember right? A summer fair, I think it is. And then they get distracted because the ice cream van comes. And they go and get ice cream and they go home and that's fine. And then when he gets home at night and he wants Dogger, Dogger is not there. Dogger is missing. You see how that works? And so he's completely distraught and they go through the whole house and they turn it upside down trying to find him. Can't find him. Poor dad's even outside looking at like the cabbage patch and things. No sign of him. So
what heartbreak.
Yes. So his sister gives him a wee teddy bear to kind of console him.
Oh, he looks absolutely he's not having it.
Want it. It's thrown out of the bed already. He's just distraught because nothing is going to work. So the next day they go to the summer fair. And there's like lots of stalls and all manner of things, and children dressed up as fancy dress. My favourite one, there is a child dressed as a Dalek. It's just my favourite thing of all.
But what a spread! Oh, fantastic! Sorry for those who can't read, but you have to borrow this book.
So we have somebody dressed as a Dalek, somebody dressed as a fairy. I think this must be Little Miss
Muffet.
There's a child who's covered in newspaper, and it says "in the news." In the news.
But it's also like a proper, cleverly structured outfit. It wasn't just like slapped on newspaper.
There's a Mad Hatter. There's a strange sort of child with clogs on. There's
Dutch.
Possibly a kind of
Chinese. Maybe geisha. Japanese.
I think so. We'll talk about that. And a pirate. So lots of things from all corners of the world.
A very, very white boy dressed as a Native American.
A child as a sort of duck and a terrifying clown. So there's lots of fancy dress things. There's lots of games that they play. Sports day, Spoon, the dance.
How much personality each illustration has.
That's what I love about it because every tiny detail. You know what I mean? You could sit and look at that page there of the summer fair, and you could watch all. Like you would need to look at it for ages because there's like tiny details, and even in the people, like the kids trying on the hats and all manner of things.
All the different stalls.
So the illustration's beautiful, and even before you get to the fancy dress, you can see the kids here. So there's the one that's dressed.
That's great. So you could
dressed up.
You could read this book in different ways.
Yes. So it's lovely. The illustrations are beautiful. Anyway, in the end, he doesn't want to play race, doesn't want to because he's missing Dogger too much, and then his sister wins a giant orange bear, which is like the size of her head, which I would not want because it looks awful, right? She wins that in the raffle, and that's great. And he doesn't like the teddy, and now he doesn't like his sister either because his sister keeps winning things and he's just lost Dogger. And he's very upset. And he goes here and there's a toy stall where they're selling various terrifying. And what is that?
A potato?
Is that like Humpty?
Oh, maybe.
I'm not sure, but it's
very
like
scary.
A potato. And a horrible doll. So goes here and on the stall, at the back of the stall is Dogger, which is quite insulting because he's on sale for 5p, and this horrible giant plastic doll next to him is being sold for 150.
To be fair to
poor Dogger,
the stall owner doesn't know the emotional. He just looks like a beaten up stuffed toy.
But even so, now obviously we're going back a number of years because you would get anything for 5p now.
But
I also think side of that horrible
she
doll.
has quite the audacity to sell something that's so raggedy.
Yes,
like Dogger is beloved to Dave, but
you would throw it in the bin. If you were doing that stall, you would say, that's not fit for anybody. It's like us here.
Exactly.
We have books that we would withdraw and put on the trolley for people to buy for a small amount of money.
Yeah.
But if the pages were falling out and it was smelly and dirty, we would throw it in the bin.
Yes.
So, that's a slightly unbelievable part of the story. Anyway, he sees Dogger and he goes to the woman and he says, that's my dog. But the woman's too busy and won't listen to him. And he can't buy it because he's only got 3p.
Oh.
So he goes and he finds his sister, and his sister says, come on, we'll go and get it right now. So they go back to the stall, and this horrible child has already bought it.
She's only horrible because we are on Dave's side.
No,
but she's just a regular.
The reason she's horrible, look at that face. Because they go up and they say to her, right, she goes up and she says, oh, look, I'm really sorry. That was my brother's dog. And it was a mistake and he got lost. And please, can we buy him back? And she says, no, I bought him with my own money and I want to keep him. And she holds on him like a vice.
She has a very defiant
child. So they don't know what to do. And Dave just cries. Cries and cries and cries.
Oh, that's such a pathetic
yes,
picture.
because look, this one... Cries. And the wee girl starts to cry as well. And everybody's crying. And then she sees the horrible giant teddy with the glassy eyes. And she starts to stroke it. And the sister says, would you swap that for Dogger? And she says, oh, yes, thank you very much. And off she goes with this thing that, and if you woke up in the middle of the night and that was sitting next to your bed, that'd be you. You wouldn't sleep again. Terrifying.
But I love this line. Then Bella did something very kind just before she makes this offer for her brother.
Because she won that, and that was hers. And she
pride and joy.
But she passed it over. And he was all happy. Look, he's crying with happiness, but he got Dogger back. And he said, well, you missed the big teddy. Well, she's standing on her head, right? Well, you missed the big teddy. And she says, no, I didn't like him much, really. He was too big and his eyes were too stary. So really, it's not that selfless a gesture. In the long run, she wants it. Anyway, if I had another teddy in my bed, there wouldn't be room for me.
Oh.
And there we go. The last picture is of her with all her 19 teddies and him cuddling on top.
Oh.
Now, it's a lovely story and it's a classic and it's lovely illustrations and everything else. I can relate to this because I lost my monkey. Not in the same way in that it ended up on getting sold or anything like that bit of the story, but the rest of it's similar. So my monkey is called Jake, and I had Jake from when I was born in October, and we got Jake when I was on holiday in the July, so 6-7 months old. And I still have Jake now, by the way. That's a spoiler.
Oh, that's a happy ending.
Happy ending, right? But he is very much like a 40-year-old version of Dogger because he's even more scabby, right? But anyway, so I used to take Jake everywhere when I was a child, everywhere. Like we went on holiday, and even when we went out for the day, when we went on holiday, he had to go everywhere with me, holding on to him, and that was fine. So he was like everything that I did, Jake went. Every car journey, everything up until I was whatever age I was, can't remember. I was 25, no. And then we were on holiday one year, and again we had to go everywhere we went. We've got loads of pictures just to be holding Jake in random places. And we went out to we were at the seaside, and we went to the amusement arcade at night. And my mum and my dad and they were playing the bingo and all these kind of things, and that's fine. So we had a nice wee night. And on the way back to the apartment, walking down the street, suddenly somebody went, "Where's Jake?" And I didn't even like that. I didn't even realise I didn't have him. And I stopped in the street and started bawling. And they were like, it's okay. And I was like, standing in the street at like whatever time at night in the dark, howling and squealing.
And this is like a legitimate reason because it's not like Superman music that made you cry.
And they went, oh, it's okay. And I was like, I just want Jake. Doing all that, right? I think I was even worse than this.
Yeah.
And so my dad and my grandpa said, it's okay. We'll go back and we'll see if we can find them. We'll retrace our steps and we'll find them. Do you know when you had them last? No. And you had them in the amusements. I didn't remember what happened to him after that. So I was obviously had been like that, being distracted by like, I don't know, a drink or an ice cream or something. So my dad and my grandpa went away back to the amusements, and I was left in the street with my mum and my aunt howling, and they took me out like the window of a toy shop because we were all shut, remember? And we stood looking in the window while my mum went, if we can't get Jake back, we could get you that, or we could get you that. And doing all that. And then they were like, and we weren't going to be able to get another Jake the same. You know, it was like 5 years on. It wasn't going to happen.
No.
Right?
And it wouldn't have mattered.
No, it wouldn't have mattered. It wouldn't have been him. And so it wasn't going to happen. And I howled and howled and howled in the street. And then, after a wee while, my dad and my grandpa came walking down the street with Jake. Everything
They
was
were
fine.
heroes.
They went in and they said to the person in the amusements, look, I'm really sorry, but my son has lost his soft toy. It was just to see if there was any chance anybody had handed it in. So this is another very British thing, Pari, when we like amusement arcades at the seaside and you have like prize bingo and you have all these mountain of prizes that are junk, right? But that you can win.
Yeah.
You get tokens, you can win, you can pick a prize.
Yeah.
And they had Jake sitting up above all the prizes on the top, waiting, because they said we knew somebody would come back for him.
Because he looked so well loved, just like
yes. So they said, no, there he is. My dad said he was just sitting up there like he was just pride of place. And they said we knew somebody would come back for him or somebody would see him and say, oh no, we've lost him.
Oh.
So Jake never got to go out the house.
No.
After that.
No.
That was his last trip outside.
Oh, what an adventure to end his days on.
So I can identify with this very much.
Wow.
Yes.
So did you read this as a child, this book?
Not till years later, and I thought, oh, that is just me and Jake really
honestly
losing him. So it's not it was not a nice feeling. I can still remember 40 years on.
But I feel like this book captures it so perfectly, like the heartbreak, the joy, the distraction. It's Shirley Hughes is just, this one is one of my favorites, I think.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So yes, luckily both that and my story had happy ending.
Absolutely, yes. But I'm glad we're ending on a cheerful note and not purgatory or
no.
the other thing that I'd come up with.
It's all good. Yes, it's a nice end.
Just in time for the festive period.
Yes.
Well, I think this might be our longest episode yet. Yes, I'm so sorry to everybody, but also like we've had a great time.
Edit. I don't think we can edit.
I don't think we can edit. No, it's just out in the world for people to see or ignore. I've had a great time chatting about your trauma, your childhood trauma. For the next episode, it's going to be highs and lows, very much inspired by Dogger and your life. Yes.
Do you know already? Obviously, you can't talk about it. Have you got ideas of what you're going to do?
No, I think B literally just told me the theme just now. So no, I do not. Yes.
No idea.
Nope. So good luck to us all.
Yes.
But yes, go ahead.
And how often? When will that next?
It'll be in 2 weeks from now.
Yeah, I'm not on board even with the schedule. These things just happen.
They happen.
And go out into the ether.
They go out.
I have no idea how.
And then they exist, or maybe not.
So it'll be before Christmas anyway.
Yes, it'll be, and it'll all be online in your usual sort of Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast.
Very good.
Yes, thank you so much, Andrew. This was fantastic.
Thank you very much. Merry Christmas to everybody out there.
Yes.
No, you can't say it because you've got another like 2 of these things to do before then. But they won't hear me. I'm a happy new year.
See you in 2026.
Bye.